Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog Podcast. Did any of you actually notice that I hadn't released a podcast immediately after the Christmas special was out? I know that a lot of you will have downloaded the For Your Consideration Christmas special, which I must admit did really enjoy doing. But I'm guessing the mad dash from us old school podcasters to try and get a Doctor Who review out immediately it's just not happening anymore. I mean, there are people out there who are just going, yeah, I'll get round to watching Doctor Who at some point. Are we bad fans? Are we worried that, okay, I'll say it out loud, are we worried that watching new Doctor Who and not enjoying it could be seen traditionally as sexist or racist? Or are we just not enjoying Doctor Who for reasons which are more obvious than that? I think a lot of people are dealing with that. I mean, you know of the internal turmoil, the psychological damage. Yeah, I'm saying that out loud. No, not damage. The turmoil we went through internally, going, Doctor Who isn't for me, what do I do now? So perhaps I'm not alone in that. Leave a comment or send me an email or do whatever you want to do. I am on Blue Sky now, is surprisingly Tin Dog Podcast. So follow me there or don't. It's your choice. So, did I enjoy the Christmas special? We'll get back to you on that one. Was I looking forward to it? Not particularly, but you know what? I do hold Moffat's writing in high regard. I've just not really been enjoying Doctor Who for a few years now. And it goes back to the Capaldi times. It's not something that new. The one thing I did like was the Jo Martin Doctor, and I really wanted her to be in charge. So perhaps the things that I was worried about aren't that applicable to me. But am I enjoying Doctor Who now? I like Big Finish. I adore Big Finish's output, but that's not what we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss Joy to the World, not Joy to the Worlds, as was on some of the promo stuff, but no. Now, we knew that Nicola had been announced as possibly leaking as a new companion, and I was very excited. Enjoyed her work enormously in Derry Girls. She has natural comic timing. She's a great interviewee, panel guest. Whenever I see her on programmes, I think she's really good. Yes, she's so much older than she was in Derry Girls as a character, but you know what? That's the reason that I can't watch Bridgerton, because in my head, it's one of those first exposure things. That's how you think of that person. It's a failing of mine. It's what cost me the love of, Bonnie Langford, because I was expecting something different. It's a personal failing of mine. Or a Doctor Who fan with preconceived ideas going in. Who would have thunk it? So, yeah. I was thinking, no, go in with an open mind, really. And then Murray Gold's music started and I couldn't hear anything. So we put the subtitles on. Why is the music so high up? Is it because I'm just old? No, because I've got a 15-year-old in the house who also said, why is the music so loud? What's going on? It's not a generational thing. So, you know what? For comments about how loud Murray Gold's music is, please feel free to see practically any podcast review for the last so many years. We've all had a moan about it. We don't need to go over this territory again. It's just how things are. It's just a little bit too bombastic. But let's look at what we've actually got. I would complain about the music, but why bother? Now, the main plot of this whole thing revolves around something called a time hotel, which is at some point in the 42nd hundreds, you know what I mean? I would say 43rd century, because that's what people like to call it. It's always the century afterwards. Why bother move on? Now, can you imagine any other doctor, and I'm pretty sure that no one's mentioned this on Twitter or anything like that, no other doctor would turn up to a time hotel and not instantly want to close it down because of the effect it's having throughout history. Not mentioned, not got into for 1 second. At no point does the doctor go, hey, the causality caused by all of these people who are just tourists turning up. It's beyond the butterfly effect. It's just a complete nightmare. People are going to be using this for winning the lottery. They're going to be using this for so much more than normal, everyday, just visiting strange hotels. Are they in some sort of impenetrable, can't interfere bubbles? And then you've got the first line that's a bit of a warning thing. It's a throwaway remark. No wonder there's no room at the inn. We'll come back to that one at the end. Now, there's a whole behold the man thing going on. Yeah, you can reference that short story if you want, but that's not important. We're then introduced to the stuff we'd already seen, which was the chase through, all of the different hotel rooms with the pumpkin latte and the ham toasty, which had been microwaved. Now, okay, so we've also got the guy from Famalam. I don't know if you're aware of the work. Very good. Track it down on iPlayer. Playing a not particularly great bloke who works in reception. You've also got the manager, who's a Silurian, who came through one of the portals in the hotel. Everyone in the hotel seems to be nice. That's why he said they were also nice to him. You've got the glowy thing that's caused by the suitcase that makes people disappear and die. So you go, oh yeah, that's fine. And then you've got the snappy little handle thing. We've got all that. We've got the major plot things. Try not to think about it, because we've got we've got Joy, character, being introduced and going, yeah, I've got this hairdryer thing. And because, oh no, the whole story is being brought about by interconnecting doors. There's always a door in a hotel room. Yeah, there is. It leads to the room next door. I know some people on the internet have pointed out the whole thing about, why do you mean there weren't fresh towels already in the room? Oh no hotel worth its salt would be able to do that. Has anyone actually stayed in a British hotel? Things are forgotten, not looked into, not brought up on time, all the time. Some people say you pay peanuts, you get monkeys, but that's kind of it. There seems to be no other staff in the hotel. She's running it by herself. She'll be run ragged, which is why at one point she just doesn't react to stuff anymore. So you've got that plot going on. And of course, just like every other Doctor Who fan in the world, we're going to completely ignore that plot and just fixate on the bit we actually liked. That bit where the Doctor is stranded for 1 year here on Earth. And he doesn't interfere in anything else. He doesn't go off and have strange adventures or anything like that. So when people are going, hey, Big Finish are going to be doing a little dance, perhaps not this time, because he fits himself in as the porter / staff, handyman, whatever you want to call, using his psychic paper to work out what people need for breakfasts. Now, we've seen the Doctor stranded on Earth when he was the 11th Doctor with nothing to do and he was bored. But he doesn't even think about contacting his former self, or even Donna, or any of the family, or having anything to do with UNIT, or anything like that. And we're pretty sure that the year of 2025, is the year he's stuck here on Earth. So if there is a moment in the war between the land and the sea where somebody goes, hey, what we need is the Doctor, everybody watching will be going, isn't he working at a hotel? Now, perhaps you could have some sort of cutaway moment in that way he turns up. I don't think so, because that would make sense. But that means the entirety of the programme, you'll be sat there going, Doctor's working in a hotel, he could just help. Nope, the Doctor is at a hotel. He's over there. He could just help. Give him a ring. He's there. He'll lend a hand, because he's stuck from 2024 to 2025. I'm sure people will be pointing that one out at the time. So, here's the thing. The Doctor disappears off for a year and has a year of sitting in a chair and having chair evenings, which is lovely. I'm sure there's going to be a chair evening podcast at some point. And you've got Anita. Right, okay. Let's look at Anita's performance. Brilliant. You've got the payoff for the Anita storyline. I'll cover that now because I want to get it out of the way, which is basically Fry from Futurama. Anita is a hotel manager. She's doing everything. She's getting it all done. It's fine. And then at the very end, she gets invited to run the hotel in the future. Right. Now, obviously the hotel kind of runs itself anyway because you've got a Silurian running it at one point who is 63 million years from the past. Again, 63 million we'll have to come back to. And she then gets the job. So it's Fry from Futurama, who is a delivery boy, and then travels through time and ends up in the future and ends up being a delivery boy. She's still got a job and she's still going to end up doing all of these things. She's going to end up just doing exactly the same thing that she's already doing, which is arguably a bit sad, but perhaps she just loves being a hotel manager. Not from the look on her face, because, you know, she only looks forward to games night. So perhaps, well, so many of us have jobs that we're just doing. Moving on. There was a very famous bit in a magazine where Moffat described how to open a safe using a time machine, which is a combination lock. You then get someone from the future to turn up, and every time you fail, that timeline collapses and then you succeed. And I really thought that's where we were going with this, because Moffat had thought the whole thing out. So when the pin number finally arrives and it's actually a bootstrap paradox, that's pants. It needs to have been described in a particularly exciting, perhaps some sort of screen fluttering kind of a way, where the Doctor comes back through time repeatedly and then it gets stuck on the one that's actually correct, which seemed to be what he was going for, but he didn't bother with it this time, which is a bit sad, but you can understand that. Because we are distracted by the 20 minutes of the Doctor being a handyman or Bob the Builder, whatever you want to call him. Oh, did I ever tell you that I made a sonic screwdriver and put it in Bob the Builder's toolkit, and it's actually on screen and you can see it if you looked closely? So the Bob the Builder is a Time Lord, so it kind of works both ways. That's not important. What is important is that we get distracted so much by this lovely other storyline that when the Doctor turns up and Joy's there, rather than going, hey, we've got more Nicola action, that's great, we just go, oh, we're back to this nonsense again with the Hobbit doors and all of the other stuff. Oh, I'm pretty sold on the fact that that door takes you back to the 2000s where they're making Lord of the Rings. It is not a Hobbit door that takes you back to Tolkien's times, because it's only a time machine, it's not anything else. And if anyone wants to fight me on that point, I just don't care. Okay, they're all very nice doors, but that's fine. The thing is, if you look too close at the plot, it starts falling apart. Why would the Villain Guard want to be making a star when there's so many stars that you could just, have? Also, is it, I'm going to get the wrath of Doctor Who fandom on this one, is it a stellar manipulator / hand of Omega? No, because it just makes stars. It doesn't manipulate them. That would be a whole different kettle of fish or box of tricks. So why are they bothering to use the time machine, the time hotel? They're trying to put it far back in time in order to test it. But once you've taken on human form and then you've been transferred into stardust, which is a bit too Kylie Minogue for my liking, and then you end up becoming a star in the sky night. And okay, so as soon as somebody starts mentioning stars and it's a Christmas special, my hackles went up a bit and going, oh, please don't go there, please don't go there. But I think it's exceptionally brave of Moffat and Russell to take an atheist show and make the life of Brian part of the canon of Doctor Who, because that's very important. The life of Brian, of course, consisting of somebody being born, weirdly, it wasn't at 000, it was 0001 AD, which is, okay, so we'll leave the whole time dating thing. Does it go 0001 minus and then plus? BC. Now, of course, it's Common Era. So why they went AD is weird, because it's actually CE, it's Common Era. But okay, moving on. The whole Jesus thing we can just ignore. Yes, we can. And of course, you've got the whole room at the end thing, which I've already discussed. Other questions. Why is there a room that leads to a Manchester thing? Manchester Hotel. Why is there a door that leads to... Well, the reason is narratively, obviously, is to get a bit of rope. But why at the Orient Express? And of course, you do need the obligatory reference with the letters and things like that. So, also, worthy of mention is the thing on the internet that people have kicked off about, or at least gone, hey, it's really brave, or hey, it's really rubbish. Okay, so it's implied that Joy's mum dies alone during COVID in hospital. Now, she's dying alone at New Year, but at no point does she say, oh, do you know what really happened is my mum vanished and we had no body to bury, and it went off because she vanished and became all glowy. And I was watching this on the iPad at the time. So time has changed, so therefore the people at the hotel can change time. Therefore, that's why the hotel should be closed down. Therefore, giving her a job at the hotel is a really bad idea at the end, and so on. Please don't look too closely at the plot, despite the fact that at the very end, my daughter did turn to me and say, Dad, what have you just made us watch? That made no sense. And there was a 15-year-old just listing all of the chronological time travel issues. And I'm going, bless you. But yeah, leave it there. Did I enjoy it? It was all right. It's not Moffat's bestest work. I can see what he was trying to do, but it just didn't feel as nice. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I've moved on. TV Doctor Who isn't my favourite Doctor Who at the moment, and that's acceptable. TV Doctor Who isn't made for me, and that's fine. I'm reviewing it from that point of view, that perspective, and my head is clear. I know which Doctor Who's are made for me, and I'm enjoying those. And I am calm and fine. And I hope you are too. I genuinely do. So, when Joy walks up a little hill after finding the 65-million-year-old suitcase, which had been entombed in stone by some other people, and the Doctor had done the running around and pulling off the door, and she goes upstairs and glows like the brand new relaunch of Ready Brek, and then goes off to the stars because she thinks it's fine, despite the fact that basically the Doctor had failed to save her. He did save the planet. Oh my God, sorry, that bit where the Doctor's winding her up and isn't a nice person and saying awful things in order to snap someone's control. It's just to give the Doctor some type of depth that he doesn't usually have, or a different point of view, a different perspective, to show him as not a nice person, but that just makes him worse. Never cruel. Well, sometimes cruel, often cruel. Yeah, not great. Not the Doctor that... Well, I don't know. Like I said, this isn't Doctor Who made for me at all. But I'm going to review it, and I just have. Make up your own mind. Go with your own thoughts, please. Until next time, when we'll be discussing, I have no idea, possibly playing catch-up on Big Finish, I just don't know. Oh, I'll tell you what I have got to look forward to. The new UFO audiobook. Now, that's something I am looking forward to. So until next time, Happy New Year, and be seeing you. That was the Tin Dog Podcast, available on Spotify, iTunes, Acast, Stitcher, and wherever good podcasts are found. Get early access to content by subscribing to the Tin Dog Podcast YouTube channel. You can support the show at patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on Twitter at tindogpodcast or email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. All of the things discussed are the intellectual property of others. No infringement is intended. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.